Brower. And of course, you're listening live here on Marvelous Monday on 12radio.com. We're excited to be here with you today, as we always are. You know, I say that every week, and then I think, gosh, that sounds so repetitive, but it's actually just really true that we're here with you on the radio because we love to be. And that's true for me, and I know that's true for lots of our other hosts as well. So welcome. I'm excited to be here with you. Please join me in the chat room by going to 12radio.com and clicking on chat. And that will bring you right into our Facebook group, which of course, you know, over 3,000 of you are already members. But if you're not, simply ask to join and my producer Scott will let you right in. You will find me in the chat room in two ways today. I am broadcasting live on Facebook Live as well as chatting in the chat room. So if you want to, you can watch the show by clicking on the video, or you can just listen and participate. So I am going to be taking questions and comments and requests for readings in the chat room. Please post those on the pinned post at the top of the page where my producer Scott posted my banner. That way I can keep up with your questions there. If you post them on the video, it is really hard for me to stay up with them. They roll up and I lose them over time. So just post on the pinned post and I will get to you, because I think we're going to have lots of questions and comments today, because this is my topic today, I think, is one that many of us are working on right now. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with you and hearing what you have today to say. So today I want to talk about acceptance. I've kind of by accident talked about grief this month. I didn't really plan it that way, but it is what happened. And so in looking at that, one of the ways that we get to a place of not getting over a loss, because that is not real. We don't get over losses. We accept them. We move to a place of acceptance where we recognize that this is our new normal. And that's when we really are able to move forward after a loss. So this can be a death. This can be the loss of a job. It can be the loss of a relationship. It can be the loss of a dream or a friend, or, you know, anything that was important to us. Any living thing, anything else that was important to us that we may have grieved the loss of. When we come to a place of acceptance, we know that we're able now to move forward. It doesn't mean that grief is over, because grief doesn't ever really end. We grieve different things at different times, and that will be the case throughout our lives as part of being a human. But when we can reach that place of existence, or of acceptance, we know that we're ready to move forward. We're ready to accept what we've learned from that situation, allow it to be true, allow it to be our reality, and then move forward with it. So I want to talk about that today, because it's something I'm dealing with myself. I'm sure that many of you are as well. And so I wanted to talk about some tips on how to get to that place. Let's talk about it in the chat room. If you're working on getting to a place of acceptance or struggling to get to a place of acceptance, I would love to hear from you, because I want to talk about those things with you. Because here's what happens. We fight sometimes. We fight hard to keep something that no longer really exists, don't we? So when a loss occurs, sometimes we refuse to accept that it's real. And so we fight for it to not be true. We spend time in a place of blaming, often, in a place of denial. And sometimes we fight in that place for a long time before we accept our new reality. So the first thing that we have to do is admit defeat. And I know that when you hear me say that, that might make you bristle a little bit, because as human beings, we don't really like to be defeated, do we? We don't like to admit defeat. But in reality, if we're fighting something that really no longer exists for us, if we're battling to keep something that is gone, battling to force change that cannot happen, or battling to stay in the past rather than into the present and see what's really real in the now, then we cannot accept. But when we can admit defeat, end the fight, stop the battle, that's when we can really accept, this is where I'm at now. And it might be better than you expect. It may not be so terrible, but sometimes we fight so hard for something to not be true that we never really consider what it really means for it to be true, right? And so sometimes we have to really consciously stop the battle, stop the fighting within ourselves to keep something from being real. Let's see. Oh, yeah, lots of people needing body scans today. Okay, we're going to get to that. All right, so in thinking about acceptance, I talk about my parents' deaths a lot because it's, the biggest grief I've experienced in my life. And so, of course, it's something that, I still work to accept. But accepting the new reality and accepting my life as being the oldest living member of my biological immediate family has been an interesting path for me. I felt a very heavy weight of responsibility after my dad passed away, because I literally then became the oldest living member of my biological family. And if you know, I'm already the oldest child, and so I feel some sense of responsibility anyway. After my dad passed, then I really felt a sense of responsibility because the adults were gone. Then I had to accept the fact that I'm also an adult. It's not that life is easy without my parents. It's not. But is it okay? Can I be happy? Can I move forward in my life? I actually can and have. And that's okay. One of the things that holds us up with acceptance is that sometimes other people in our lives don't want us to accept. People want you to be sad and in grief and in mourning for the rest of your life. That's the expectation, right? I still run into people who knew my parents who say, "Oh, it's so terrible. I just feel so bad for you girls. It must be so horrible for you." Okay, well, my dad's been gone 4 years, my mom 5.5. And I feel like that's a real big discounting of my family, because we have found a way to move forward. We have found a way to be okay. We aren't living in grief all day, every day. But it's sort of like people expect that we are, and that maybe we should be. So I find that interesting, that expectation that we have of other people, that, we don't really recognize that people do accept their reality. People do accept where they are and make the best of where they are. And that's what acceptance is really about, is when you accept your new reality, whatever it is, then you can move forward. Then you can find a place of happiness, find a place of stability, if you can allow acceptance to occur in your life. Let's see here. Sorry, just checking the comments here on the video. Okay, so some things to think about with acceptance. First of all, you have to recognize where you're at in your life. Where are you fighting a battle that you cannot win? Where are you fighting a battle to keep something that is no longer yours, that is no longer present in this lifetime? So we first have to identify, what battle are we fighting in order to let it go? Then there's some ego in it, I think. Sometimes our ego gets in the way of, telling us that we have to keep fighting. We can't let go. It's wrong to admit defeat. We've been taught that, haven't we? That losing is bad. And sometimes when you choose to lose, it can be a really, really positive thing. I know for me, it was not worth hanging on to and being in a place of battling, not letting go of my mom and dad when they were gone. There was nothing I could do. There's nothing you can change about the past, right? And this is what we do. This is what our human minds do to us. This is what our egos do to us. Give us the impression that we can change the past, right? Well, we can't. There is not one thing that any of us can do to change a loss. Once it's occurred, it has occurred, right? And so admitting that and allowing for defeat, recognizing that all I'm doing is fighting with myself in not accepting something in order to move forward, then we really can just accept. Catherine says, perfect subject for how I'm feeling today, tired of battling and learning acceptance. Yeah. Acceptance is something I've had a lot of practice with because I've been through a lot of things in my life, as many of us have. I know I'm not the only one. But I feel like I'm better at it than I used to be. I've been through this crazy medical ride in the last 2.5 years, resulting in being diagnosed with this rare immune system disorder that I'd never even heard of. And so I've been through a lot of acceptance, because the diagnosis was something that I had to accept, because it is a lifelong issue that affects every body system, puts me at risk of all different kinds of crazy stuff that could kill me, honestly, and requires weekly infusions for the rest of my life. It's not like I do them for a year and then I'm better and I move on. No, I've been doing them for a year and I am better, but it's not over, because my life isn't over, right? So I've had to accept a lot of things in the last few years. I've had to accept, that my health has changed my physical ability to do some things. I work from home now. I rest more. There are some things I cannot do, because along this immune system disorder brings a whole host of things with it. And one of them is rheumatoid arthritis. So I have rheumatoid arthritis due to my immune system disorder. That has created a whole new level of limitation physically for me in the last 6 months particularly. I've experienced a significant amount of limitation. Does it mean that I can't do anything? No. Does it mean that I can't do the things that I love and want to do? No. Does it mean that I have to accept a few things? Yeah. Does it mean that I have to accept that some things I have to do in a different way? And some things I have to ask for help with? I'm in a position right now where carrying a full laundry basket of clothes up or down the stairs in my house is not something I can do. Interesting for me, because I'm very independent. I've never been very good at asking for help. I'm sort of an Energizer bunny usually when it comes to energy and getting things done, and I just put my head into it and go, right? That is not reality for me anymore. And if I want to do some laundry, then I stack laundry baskets up in the hallway, and then I have to ask my wife or my son to carry them downstairs for me. And then I do the laundry, and then I have to ask one of them to carry them back upstairs for me. Every once in a while, and I did this morning because I'm still working on acceptance, I carried a full laundry basket upstairs. And it about killed me. It makes me really out of breath. I have some inflammation around my lungs and my heart, which is part of RA. And so I get really out of breath and lightheaded with much exertion. If I was carrying that laundry basket on a flat surface, I'd probably be fine, but it's the stairs that really get me. So I needed some clothes out of that laundry basket to get ready today to be here on the radio with you. And there wasn't anyone available to carry the basket. So instead of just digging the clothes out that I needed and leaving the basket downstairs till someone could carry it for me, I carried it upstairs. And I paid for it. I'm still paying for it right now. So I'm still working on acceptance. I'm still working on recognizing that there are times when I have to say no. I'm not very good at saying no. I always say yes. And some things I have to say no. I have to accept that there are limitations in my life now, that it's okay for me to say no. It's okay for me to recognize when I can do something and when I really can't. That's where I'm at with acceptance, because I don't like to ask for help. I also don't like to wait. I'm very impatient. And so if asking for help, if asking for someone else to do something for me requires waiting for it to be done when someone is available, I'm not very good at that. I'm pretty good at forcing myself to do it anyway, and then I pay for it. Then I have consequences. So I'm working on that area of acceptance. I have to stop fighting that battle inside of myself that, number one, there's something wrong with asking for help, and number two, that I can't wait. When in reality, I almost always can, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. That's my battle right now. Julia in the chat said, I love this. She said, Oprah mentioned in the last 21-day meditation something an interviewee told her. Forgiveness is letting go of the hope that the past could have been any different. Yes, exactly. And when you can allow that, you can accept it. We do that, though, don't we? It's called bargaining. Where if this had been different, or if this person did that and it shouldn't have turned out this way, We go around and around and around about various issues that we are grieving, right? The reality is, it couldn't have been any different because it wasn't any different. It happened as it happened. Nothing we can do about it, really. Right? Okay. Well, we're going to talk more about this, but I'd like to do our meditation first. I want to do my inner peace meditation with you today because I feel like when we're working on acceptance, when we're working on giving up the battle, when we're working on admitting defeat, it helps to go to a place of inner peace inside of ourselves because we need to find that peaceful place inside of us in order to let go of the battle, don't we? Okay, so let's do this. Inner peace. Go ahead and close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. Now, imagine that you're walking down a path in the woods. Take a moment to hear the wind in the trees. Feel the sun on your face. And smell the pine needles. As you walk, you notice a sense of calm come over you, an inner knowing that all is well in this place and in you. You notice that you're approaching a log staircase that leads to a serene meadow with a small pond. As you descend the stairs, you feel your consciousness moving down into your heart, preparing you for an experience of deep inner peace. When you reach the bottom of the staircase, take a moment to drink in the magnificent scene before you. The pond is still and reflecting the blue sky and white clouds above you. There are tiny purple flowers blooming all over the meadow, nestled in soft green grass. Near the pond is a bench under a willow tree. You hear a breeze in the willow, beckoning you to come and rest. You take a seat on the bench. Next to the bench is a basket of smooth, round pebbles. These pebbles represent the cares and worries in your life that get in the way of your inner peace. Choose a worry you would like to give away. Maybe choose a battle you would like to let go of. Pick up a pebble and whisper your worry into it, and then toss the pebble into the pond. Watch the ripples in the pond and notice how the pond returns quickly to its serene and undisturbed state. See how the pond releases the experience and returns to peace. Choose another worry and another pebble and repeat the process. Notice how each time the pond is disturbed, it returns quickly to serenity. Throw as many of your cares and worries into the pond as you would like. Although your experiences may disturb your inner peace momentarily, you can choose to return to a place of serenity, just like the pond. Take a moment to remember this place and the feeling of peace here. Know that you can return here any time to release your cares and worries, and also to remind yourself how to return to serenity, just like the pond. Now, when you're ready, stand up from the bench and return to the staircase. As you ascend, feel your consciousness rise back up into your mind, storing your experiences for future reference. As you walk the path, bring yourself back to awareness. Feel the earth beneath your feet and become aware of the sounds around you. And when you're ready, take 3 deep breaths. And open your eyes. Okay. Very good. I hope that you enjoyed that meditation. That is a practice that always helps me to let go of something I'm battling, let go of something I'm worrying about, or something that I need to release. Sometimes we need a little process to help us do that, huh? Liliana says, I made a decision this morning accepting what's best for me at this moment. Good. She said, I would love a message for the week. Hope and leap of faith. Very good. Okay. So, I wanted to share a stone with you for the week to help us with acceptance. And that stone is smoky quartz. So I'm just bringing it up here so that I can share it in the chat room. You can find it over on my website, kristibrower.com, if you're not in the chat or if you're listening at another time or watching the video. Okay, but smoky quartz is a spiritual and auric protection stone. It is grounding, and it brings a sense of connection to your higher self. So it is a great stone to ground us and protect us and help us to stay connected to our higher selves. And so it is a stone that really connects the top and the bottom of the energy body, which is something that we need when we're accepting. Because a big part of acceptance is returning to a sense of safety. When you've had a loss in your life, when something significant has happened and changed things for you, it can be really hard to feel safe again. Sorry guys, hang on one second. I'm going to close my office door because my dogs do not want to stop barking. I want you to be able to hear me. Okay. So, returning to a sense of safety is really, really important in coming to a place of acceptance. We have to feel safe in our new situation, right? And sometimes that's what we battle, is that we don't want to change. The situation that we were in felt good to us, it felt safe to us, it felt stable to us. And so we don't really want to let it go because that's something that we might lose, is that sense of safety. So it's really important to help yourself with getting that sense of safety back. So smoky quartz is the stone that I chose for that because it's a spiritual and auric protection stone. Because often when we are working on acceptance, we really are working on acknowledging some sort of darkness that has occurred in our lives. And so we have to find that place of safety and security again after the realization that a big loss can happen. This is something that I think all of us, we can't help but fear a big loss of some sort in our lives. We can't help but fear a big change. Because when we're in a safe and stable situation, we want to stay there, right? But that isn't how life works. Change happens. Change happens all the time. And so we cannot help but sometimes lose that sense of safety. It doesn't mean we can't get it back, though. We can. It takes work, to ground ourselves, to feel rooted and connected in a new situation, definitely. But smoky quartz is a stone that can help with that. So I'm going to show you a couple of pieces that I have that I love. These are pieces of smoky quartz from Crystal Park, Montana. Sorry guys, I'm showing it, holding it up to two different cameras, but these are pieces of smoky quartz from Crystal Park, one of my favorite places to go. Crystal digging. There's lots of smoky quartz up there. Smoky quartz really does help us face the darkness and come out into the light. It is a stone that I feel has the power to do that, to assist us with that. It is a stone that helps us to move through a dark time in our lives with strength, with a sense of safety. That stone really does help to provide that. So if you have a piece of smoky quartz, awesome. If you don't, go get one. Smoky quartz is very common and easy to come by. It is a stone that is very, very helpful in grounding and centering and protecting us. And so it's one of those stones that, you know, if you're building your crystal kit, this is a stone that everyone should have. So carrying it with you, meditating with it, sleeping with it are all great ways to use smoky quartz when you're struggling. You could do the inner peace meditation while holding a piece of smoky quartz to help you to face some things. One part of acceptance that can be difficult is that if we're having trouble facing the reality of a big change, how do we accept it? We first have to face it, right? Have you ever had something happen to you, like you got fired and you didn't tell anyone for a week because you were having trouble facing it yourself? And if you're having trouble facing it yourself, then how do you accept it, right? So smoky quartz is a great stone to help us with that sense of safety so that we can then move forward with it. So that's something that I just wanted to share with you because I think it's very helpful. Okay, I have a couple of announcements, and after those announcements, then I'm going to take your questions in the chat. I'll get to as many of you as I can. So if you haven't posted your question but you would like to, please do that. I do have a 15-minute session on sale over at 12listen. It's called, I've called it an energy checkup. So this is my description, I guess. This is sort of my description of myself. I say the energy doctor is in. That's me. Look at you. Let's look at you and all of your connections. So connections to people, to places, to things, to jobs, to relationships. What needs balanced, cleared, or released? We will take a look at all of those things and clear them. So this is a very special price. It's 15 minutes for $50, which you know is a good price over at 12listen. So I'm going to share this in the chat, but it's also on my advisor profile page at 12listen.com. If you're not in the chat, you can find it there. It also was in my newsletter today. If you're not receiving my newsletter, but you would like to, you can do that by going to kristibrower.com and just sign up for the newsletter. And then you will get, I try to have a reading special in there nearly every week. Of like an email reading or a time-based session or something. And so this is my special for this week. But now is a really good time for us to just look at all of your connections. I like to think of it that way. Here's you in the middle with your energy body, and then you're connected to all different kinds of things in your life, to other people, to relationships, to your job, to money, to, you know, maybe you have a connection to a traumatic event that is making it difficult for you to find acceptance. Maybe you're still living it in some way and we have to release you from it so that you can accept it and move forward. There are lots of different ways to look at that. So it is a pretty comprehensive look at your energy body and whatever your connections are. And are there things that need to be cleared or healed, or are there things that truly need to be released? We all carry around things sometimes that we really can let go of, but we might need some help to do that. And so that's what this session is meant to do. Okay, the other thing is that Katie and I have a class coming up, and it was supposed to be tonight, but we have moved it. We needed to push it back a couple of weeks. So I wanted to let you know about that. It is our Psychic Sisters Spirit School. So we are monthly teaching a class on some sort of metaphysical practice. As you know, we are masters of the metaphysical arts. We ran a metaphysical store for a long time. We've been teaching metaphysical practices together for many years. And so we're going to be teaching a class on space clearing. This is on May 29th at 7 p.m. Pacific at 12 Academy. So this space clearing class, we'll talk a little bit about sort of the basic simple stuff with sage and rose water and white candles and things like that. But we're really going to focus on two other aspects of space clearing. The first being space clearing in places where you can't really do the traditional kinds of space clearing. So maybe you can't burn things there. Maybe, if it's your office and you can't burn sage or you can't burn a candle. Or maybe it's a public place that needs to be cleared. Maybe it's a grocery store or a hospital or a doctor's office. Somewhere that you go that feels very uncomfortable, or that you feel that there's something there and that you want to clear, but you don't know how to do that because you can't just walk in with, your sage burning and your feathers, right? I mean, sometimes we would like to. I would kind of like to carry that with me everywhere I go. But it doesn't work like that. So there are other ways to clear that kind of a space. And then the second thing that we're going to talk about is crystal gridding property. So you can develop a crystal grid on a property that protects the property. So it creates a grid of energy that sort of builds itself into a dome around an energy, so you can, around a space. So you can do, like I've done the four corners of my property, gridded my property to protect my property. You can do it in your house. You could do it in your office or in your apartment. There are lots of ways to do that. So we're going to talk about what stones to use and what the process is, how you do that. So we're excited to share that. Katie and I have been doing space clearing in person together for about 10 years. And so we've done all different kinds of things and cleared all different kinds of things in homes and businesses, and, helped to shift the energy of a home or a business to a better state. We've done that many times. And so we're going to come together to share our knowledge and our wisdom about space clearing. So don't forget, that's on the 29th at 7 p.m. Pacific. So I wanted you to know we did make a little change to the time and day, or to the day on that. Okay, looks like we've got lots of questions in the chat. I'm just going to refresh Facebook so I have them all. Well, maybe I am. Give Facebook just a moment. Facebook, my best friend and my worst enemy, right? I don't know if you guys feel that way about it. But I kind of do. Okay, here we go. Nothing like pausing on live radio, right? Give me 1 second here. Sorry. Just doesn't want to let me scroll up. There we go. There I can see only the bottom or only the top. Okay, let's see. Kevin says, good day. Kristi, quick question. I'm currently in the middle of seeking new employment and new residency. My anxiety is kicking in but manageable. Suggestion on how to get out of my own way in order to possibly make this as smooth a transition as possible. Okay, yes, a couple of things come up. First of all, try to do one and then the other. You feel like doing them both at the same time is too much? And so if you can do one change and then the other, that will help with your anxiety. The other is to be very proactive when it comes to your root chakra, because that's where a lot of the anxiety is coming from, is your root chakra instability kicks in when you make big changes. So I would suggest getting my energy breathing meditation if you don't already have it, and do that every day. Do some very proactive grounding and centering activities. Use your grounding stones. Do things to preempt root chakra instability. The other part of this that I think is really key, and I'm glad you bring this up because it's a part of acceptance, and it is definitely a part of, accepting the change that you're going through, is to regularly give yourself a reality check, because we can get very scared and very wound up and anxious when we're making big changes about the unknown, right? We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We don't know where we're going to land. And so one of the things that you can do is to stop in the moment and ask yourself, am I okay? Am I safe right now? You take a little quick scan of your environment. It is bringing your consciousness into the moment. So you check your body. Do I feel okay? Okay. You check the room you're in. Everything okay? Yeah. Maybe you walk through your house or your apartment. Everything seems safe, right? Okay. The reason that you do that is that there is a part of your unconscious mind that kicks into overdrive, that kicks into that fight or flight response whenever you start to get anxious, whenever you start to feel like your stability is threatened. And even though you're consciously choosing to make the changes and literally to threaten your own instability, right? Because you're changing some things. Sometimes you need to get your mind involved to remind yourself that you're okay. To remind yourself that you really are safe and that no matter what, where you are is all right. And in this moment, you're okay. That helps to alleviate that fight or flight response when you can have a moment of checking in with yourself and realizing really everything is okay. I'm safe right now in this moment. So stop and do that and be very proactive about your root chakra, Kevin. Make sure that you're grounding yourself and you are regularly working on that root. Don't wait until it's out. Do things to consciously keep it in and balanced. Make sense? Okay, very good. Thank you for that question, and I'm excited for you. I think these are all positive changes, all positive movement forward. And I think you know that, but sometimes our ego and our unconsciousness recognize change as the enemy. So we have to be very conscious about reminding ourselves that we really are okay and very much safe in this moment. Thanks for the question. Let's see. Julia says, I would appreciate a scan and or a message today. Health in particular. Okay. Oh, interesting, Julia. I have had this pressure in my chest throughout the entire show, and I wasn't sure who I was feeling. Sorry about that, guys. My poor old dog Lucy is sitting right behind me, and she hacks and coughs and sneezes and breathes funny and stuff because, well, she's 14. What can I say? Okay, Julia. So I feel such a... Oh, okay. You have a huge attachment. It's like a spear right through your back. It's really your heart chakra, but it's right through your back. I feel it sort of on the right side of my back. And I feel all this pressure in my chest from it. This can be causing physical symptoms that may not actually be a physical problem. As you know, I'm not a doctor. I do not diagnose anything. But I will tell you that this attachment can be causing some physical symptoms that once we clear it will actually not be a physical problem, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think that you should pursue any physical issue that you feel you need to with your doctor. But I want you to know that in clearing this attachment, some of your symptoms may actually clear up. Because an attachment like this can be, really what happens is it's a huge alarm bell that goes off in the body that something is wrong. Something is in us that shouldn't be here, right? It's sort of like having a sliver that festers. So I'm just going to take a moment, Julia, and we're going to pull that attachment. We're just going to release it. I'm going to pull it out of your back. Good. And then I'm going to drop that into the vortex of white light and heal it. And we're going to send it back to where it goes, which is to someone else. So this is a thought form attachment. It came from very strong, emotionally charged thoughts from someone else. So anytime you have a particularly passionate or heated or angry or frustrated or irritated kind of conversation with anyone, or you express yourself, you express your belief, or you stand your ground, or you say something that really matters to you, it can trigger this kind of response in someone else. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. Someone else had a very strong reaction to you and fired off this arrow, really spear, into your back. I feel like it really triggered somebody else's insecurities. It's not your fault. You simply spoke your truth, but that triggered them, if that makes sense. So, there we go. Sorry, my video paused. I'm going to do a little clearing in your heart and a balancing there. I'm breathing better. I'm feeling less pressure there. I hope you are too. That will get better throughout the day, Julia, so pay attention to that and see how it may impact some of the symptoms that you're experiencing, okay? All right, thank you for that question. I'm really glad we could get rid of that for you. All right, Jane says that she would love a scan and a message. All right, Jane, let's see what's going on with you. Jane, I really like where you're at in the balance of your energy body. I see that you're doing some really good things for yourself. There's some great balance going on here. What I feel, though, is a block in your throat that are some words that have gone unsaid at some point. There are some things that you stuffed and didn't communicate, and so there's this ball of energy in your throat. I feel it's sort of restricting me as I'm speaking, as I'm tuning into you. That is limiting. It actually gets in the way now of you speaking your truth. Like that's what it originally was a time when you chose to just stay quiet and not express how you felt and not speak your truth. And now it's become so large, that block in there, that it's actually continuing that problem of not being able to speak your truth. So I'm going to unwind this ball of words as we're talking, Jane. I'm going to release as much of it as I can. Now, with a block like this, it is always the case that some of it is work I can do, and some of it is work that you have to do. So I'm going to get down to sort of a core issue in your throat that you then have to resolve. You have to speak it somehow. You have to communicate it to let it go, okay? But I do feel a lot of that pressure clearing up. So think that it will be easier, but take a little time to think about what's something that you've really denied yourself communication of. Maybe you just need to write it down. Maybe you need to journal it or write a letter about it. It's not something that you even have to share with another person if you don't want to, but I do feel like it's something that needs to be said on your part in order to validate yourself, and that block will clear when you do that. So I've released a lot of the pressure, a lot of words that didn't really need to be repeated. So the core issue is still there. So take some time to think about that and write about it, and, write something and burn it. Do some sort of a ritual that allows you to release it from yourself. Okay? Thank you so much for that question. Sandy says, "Hi, Kristi. I'd be grateful to know if you see me finding a job very soon, please. Haven't been to any job interviews in the last 3 weeks, and I'm worried. Been looking for a job since the beginning of the year." Oh, Sandy. Gosh, job stuff has been frustrating lately, hasn't it? Okay. So, Sandy, what I feel like is going on with you is that you're at a point of feeling pretty vulnerable and kind of defeated because it's been a while since you've had an interview and you're not finding anything, and so your vibration has really dropped. When your vibration drops, you don't attract as many potential employers. They feel that energy. Whether we are all aura readers, whether we really realize it or not. And so potential employers don't get the high vibrating bright light that you are from your application or your resume or your communication with them because your vibration is down. So let's just get that vibration up, okay? So we have to release that energy of that defeated energy, and really, let's just start with your root chakra. I'm just going to do a vibration raising, which means that I'm going to draw all of the colors of the energy, all of the energy body, all the way up through you several times in order to raise your vibration, okay? So I'm just going to do that as we're talking. But remember that what you want is to have a very bright light when it comes to employers so that they see you, so to speak. They need to see you or feel you. And so really working on keeping your vibration up and keeping yourself positive. And believe me, this is not a criticism. I understand exactly why you would get to the point that you're at right now. I get it. I very much do. But it doesn't help you in the job search process. So think about ways that you can brighten yourself up. Maybe you need to get out more. Maybe you need to have some fun. And look at the positives. What are the positives about being off from work right now? Because I'm sure there are some. There always are. To get that vibration back up, to get you feeling more like yourself. Okay? So the vibration raising that I did will help, but now it's your job to keep it up. Okay? Thank you so much for being here, and much love to you. I do think that it will be soon. I do. But you've got to keep your vibration and your energy up so that you are attracting employers, okay? Much love to you, Sandy. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Lioness Morleen says, hi, Kristi. Would love a scan, please. Upper left back. Let's see. Oh, okay. You have what I call energetic dust bunnies. So this happens in the heart chakra a lot because many of us work, when we're working in metaphysics and we're working on energy, we do a lot of work in our heart, to release things and to work on our emotions and not hang on to attachments and those kinds of things, right? So what happens is when we are clearing the heart chakra, some things get pushed to the back. And so they will become this, it looks like a little blob of energy, a little black blob of energy poking out the back of your heart chakra that just needs to be cleared. And it's sort of like when you, you vacuum your living room, but you don't move the couches. Stuff gets pushed right into the back. That's sort of what happens in the heart chakra. It's actually fairly common. I've seen it quite a bit. And so it's not any one issue. It's just sort of little pieces of energy from issues as you've released them. So I'm just going to clear that from your back. One of the things to remember when you are working on yourself is that our chakras actually extend all the way through the body, front and back. And because we are front-facing physical beings, we have a tendency to forget about the back side of our chakras. And that's what happens with the heart, is that we don't always work on what's behind us, and we need to. So I've got that clear now, Maureen, so that should help with your symptoms, but just be aware of that, okay? Thank you so much for your question. Judith said, would love a scan, soaking my aches in a soda salt mixture with a lovely rose smell. Ooh, nice. I'm jealous. I need to do that as well. Oh, Judith, let's see. What have we got here? Gosh, so much heart stuff today. No wonder I had a show on acceptance today, right? Just sort of read you guys, and that's where I decide what to talk about. Okay, so Judith, you have, this is interesting, this is a very common problem today, heart-throat block. So that means that something that you've been feeling then didn't get expressed, and so it sort of got stuck in the process. You maybe felt some pretty strong emotions about a particular situation that you didn't necessarily, I'm going to say that you didn't accurately communicate. So you may have said part of how you felt, you didn't say all of it, how you felt. So this is an opportunity for you to open that up and really do express it. So similar to some work I've already done today, I'm going to clear some of that energy to release the pressure in there so that you can express the words. So just remember that there is a process of releasing energy, emotional energy. And if we only do part of the job, the energy gets stuck inside of us, and it's not very healthy for us. So remember to try to do your best to express what you're feeling and how it's impacting you, okay? Thank you very much for your question. Let's see. Oriana would like an aura reading, so let's take a look, Oriana. Oh, I love how bright your energy is. You look really good to me, like your vibration is good and high. I'm going to stabilize your root chakra just a little bit. It's shifting around a little. It should be stable right in the center of the body at the base of the spine, and sometimes the root will get a little unstable and swing around, and yours is not so much swinging, but it is shifting a bit. So I'm just going to stabilize that. But I can see that you're doing a lot of work on yourself because your vibration looks really good. Your colors, I always think of it in colors. And, the light, bright colors are the colors that I'm looking for in a high vibrating energy body. And boy, those are there today. So I just want to say good job. And I got that root stabilized for you. So I think that will help with any sense of instability that you're struggling with. Let's see, Monique in the video would like a message. She's over on my Facebook page video. Okay, Monique, let's see. You're going to be my last one today. I'm running out of time. Oh, boy. right through the heart. All right. Monique, I do feel like you're carrying an attachment to a situation that is holding you back. So it's sort of like you're dragging something behind you that you cannot seem to let go of, and it limits your movement forward. I do feel that you know what this is. I'm just going to disconnect your energy body from that situation. I feel like that's a good idea to do that. And it's stuck right here in your heart. I'm just going to disconnect that. And then I'm going to heal your energy, because it's an attachment that's coming from you and attached to something else. And so I'm just going to pull that attachment and heal that energy and bring that back into your heart. And I feel this, oh, nice. I feel this sense of wholeness return to you when I do that. Like a piece of you is sort of missing because it's connected to something that is no longer good for you, and that you know that you need to let go of, but you've had difficulty releasing. So I hope that this energy work that we've done today will help you to move forward and feel like you are now ready to release it. Okay, so much love to all of you. I know I'm not going to get to all of you, and thank you for your questions. If I didn't get to you, I'm sorry. Oh, it looks like I'm dropped from Skype. So, I'm just going to finish up here on the video because I know you guys there are watching. We'll see if Scott calls me back. But I'm almost out of time. Just wanted to say I'm sorry if I did not get to you. But if I didn't, I will be available on 1-2-Listen right after the show. I do have that 15-minute session available over at 1-2-Listen. And I will be signed in and available for you. I'll be in and out all afternoon today. So I just really appreciate all of you being here and the opportunity to be with you today. Sounds like I hit it right on for a lot of you with the readings and energy work that we did. And I appreciate that very much. Jane says that I'm a mind reader. She's been thinking a lot about writing that letter to the family of things I'd never said to their faces about my experience with them. Very good. That's wonderful. Judith wanted to know if writing about the story would work also, like writing it as a story. And it definitely would. It definitely would. However you need to express it, that's all you got to do is express it. So thanks so much for being here with me today. And as always, thanks for listening to 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.